So I would like now to get started, if you agree, and give the floor to Thomas Durlin. He works at Cerema, which is a French institute supporting local governments with transport planning of their mobility strategies. Thomas, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you. Kalimewa, everyone. My name is Thomas Durlin. I work in Cerema in France. Cerema is a French public body providing technical expertise in the field of sustainability to local authorities, to ministries in France. As a member of the Civitas Some project, it's my pleasure today to present to you the second edition of the guidelines developing and implementing a sustainable urban mobility plan. So, the first guideline was published in 2013 as a support for the European communication concept for sustainable urban mobility plan within the mobility package. At that time, there were about 300 SUMPs in Europe, but mainly in a few countries where SUMP was mandatory, so it was not really representative of all the context in Europe. A few years later, the number of adopted SUMP in Europe increased to 1,000, but also the number of SUMP under elaboration doubled, so that it was really proving that the concept of SUMP was successful and really going to a great dynamic. By that time, there were SUMP in mainly all European countries, but also we get more and more feedbacks from experienced cities. I mean cities with a second or third generation of SUMP, so that we can really get more and more proven facts about SUMP and good practices. Also, regarding recent evolution, due to technical innovation like mobility as a service, or due to societal evolution like sharing mobility, we really think at that time that it was really high time for an update of this guideline. This update was taken in charge by Sums Up project. It was officially launched during the 2018 SUMP conference in Cyprus, and it was the beginning of a long process that lasted about 1 year. It involved many experts from consultants, from local authorities, both technical and decision makers, representatives of association of ministries. Also, there were many events organized about this update, workshops, special sessions during the SUMP conferences. All this provided many inputs. Also, there were a public consultation on internet last year. Other inputs were taken into account, were discussed, and possibly integrated when relevant. It results in the second edition of the guideline that was published last October during the last Civitas Forum. It represents a real improvement compared to the first generation of the guidelines, with more examples, with more tools, with more proven facts. So a great step further. But first, I would like to reassure you the core principle of the guidelines are the same. The essence of the SUMP is still based on the same principle that have not really changed. So it's really the basic foundation for SUMP elaboration. I will not go too far into details because it was already presented before, but I would like just to insist on 2 points. First is that the SUMP must be elaborated at the right scale. That is the functional urban area. So it's the area where citizens move daily. This means that local authority have to collaborate, to avoid creating any difficulties, any frontiers for the daily mobility. And the second point I would like to insist on is the fact that a SUMP must be based, integrate all modes. It should not be based on a single mode like car or public transport or active mode, but it really have to integrate all of them so that it can create synergies between modes, which is really important to be the most efficient. One of the reasons for the success of the first guideline was the SUMP cycle, because it provides a clear and structured vision of the whole process. With this cycle, you know always what you are doing, what you have done before, and what you will have to do. So the cycle has been conserved in the new guidelines. It was improved, of course, but it is still made in 4 stages. The first one is preparation and analysis, then strategy development, after that measure planning and implementing and monitoring. In addition to this 4 phase, you have 12 steps and 32 activities, excuse me. In addition to the SUMP cycle, you have specific vision for citizen involvement, where you can find the most important thing about citizen involvement during the process of the SUMP. You have also similar cycle for monitoring and evaluation and for political involvement, so that you can ease your understanding of those concepts. The SUMP cycle is not a rigid framework. It has to be flexible to adapt to real life. For example, it can happen that you have several activities in parallel, not in a strictly linear way. Also, from time to time, you could have to go back to a previous step if it happens that a choice has to be rediscussed. And also, of course, the time that you will spend for each step will not be the same. I guess that you will spend most of your time working about implementing and monitoring, of course, which is the objective of the SUMP. In the new guideline, you will find a first section, which is 20 pages long, that will present the core essence of the SUMP. And then you will have section 2, which is quite longer, but that presents into detail all phases, all steps, and all activities. All activities are presented in the same way, so that you can find a short summary of the step and the activity, the rationale for that, aims, also all the tasks, possibly additional tasks that you could have also to consider maybe. Also, you have timing and coordination and a few checklists with a few bullets that you can use to check what you have done so far. All this is complemented by definition when required. Also, you can find numerous tool presentations and also good practice examples. 2 of them comes from Greece, from Thessaloniki indeed. And you can also find examples from other real cities experiences in Europe. Okay. As time is going by, I will go very fast into the evolution of the guidelines. The first step has been slightly improved with new additional inputs from planning processes, external support and data. Phase 2 has been really refocused on strategy elaboration, so that it's now more clear that you have to develop scenarios, and then you have to co-create vision so that you can set objectives and use and define indicators, and finally you can set your targets that you will have to reach by the end of the SUMP process. Step 3 about measure planning has been also refocused on measures, so that it's now more clear that you can move smoothly from a long list of measures to a real SUMP that you could adapt. In phase 4, you will find a new step that deals with plan implementation, especially with procurement and coordination. Also, it's now integrates that you can have an evolution of the plan regarding the results of your monitoring. So it's now more flexible too. As a last idea, I would like to insist on the fact that some guideline is a standalone document, but still it is to be considered within a larger scope of the SUMP guidance that is made of topic guides, also practitioner briefings that can deal with a different topic like context of use, also planning process like citizen involvement and participation, for example, also specific measures like public transport, electrification or parking, and also larger policy goals. All this form a large corpus that is quite rich and that is still increasing. You can find all this document on the Eltis website, so please have a look at this. As a conclusion, I would like to insist on the fact that a SUMP is not a solution for your mobility problem, but it will help you to find solutions and to implement solutions. For that, the new guidelines has been slightly improved, and now it's really mature. It has now, it testifies that you have entered a new phase for SUMP in Europe with a more mature experience. The guideline is based on real facts, on real experiences from cities all over Europe. And also it's now enriched with a wide range of tools, of good practices, and also with a vast panel of guides. So it is now being taken up all over Europe, and also it is now also exported outside Europe internationally. So it should be a great tool for you, I guess. Oh, this is a long list of also that contributed to the guidelines. So thank you for your attention.